Hey guys, it's Raiden, back at it again with another speed build for our From the Bottom series. And this time, we're going to get into the living room, which will completely tie together our downstairs and make that finished. So, in this, I had to move what was Jet's office up to the top floor, which you will eventually see me get into very close to now rather than later. And you can also see where I've screwed up quite a bit and did not put roofing over the bathroom in the last episode. So yay! Hopefully the finished product has nice roofing and I don't forget and have to go back through it during the Let's Play section. But yeah, so I wound up giving them a nice front porch. So the back porch is nice and all the fun is happening back there. I wanted to give something a little more, I guess, plain Jane. Like you would just go sit out there on the front porch whenever you're trying to relax, watch the cars drive by, hang out with your friends, what have you, and just let that be that. And so it allowed me to put a little more time into the living room. And my idea for this and what I wanted to have, I don't feel like my lot is big enough for the things that I genuinely wanted to have. There were so many times when I was building when I debated on taking this house and setting it on a new lot. But I had already done so much that I didn't want, if maybe I had done something a little differently than what I had done before, perhaps it wouldn't translate properly in moving the lot. So I just didn't want to bother with it. I didn't want to, open up my lot and find that things had disappeared. So I just kind of left it here and tried to work with the room that I had. So the front room, the living room essentially, it's a very nice atmosphere. It's kind of cramped because, like I said, I don't have the space that I really need to do it. But once you walk through the front door, there will be a fireplace. And then directly on the other side of the fireplace and the little wall chimney type thing that I put in there is the couch sunken into the floor with the TV. Now I found that when you wanted your Sims to watch TV, they weren't able to if for some reason the TV was on the other side of, like, say, flooring that you left there. So, and you'll see what I mean. I had it sunken down in a certain section, and then across from that I had kept the regular floor height, and I made it into like a rock garden, and then the TV was behind that. So having the TV behind that it screwed up the field of view so the Sim couldn't turn the TV on. So I had to just remove a section, and you'll see it in the screenshots where I had done that. Because I went through and tested everything out after the fact, and it just didn't quite work the way it should have. So, I really have a hard go about doing roofs. Like, I am probably the worst at roofing on a Sim house ever. So I didn't really even want to mess with the roof on the top one, so I just took it out and put a dance floor in. And I really enjoyed the way that lit up that top floor area that I made. I had to move the office up there because it didn't quite fit with being downstairs, and I wanted it to go upstairs anyway. So whenever I do that, it kind of gets the creative juices flowing for what I am going to do next. So I start moving things to different areas of the house, and I'm like, okay, good. So we got this here, and it kind of sparks the flame, the fire, whatever you would call it, to start building in that area. And it's quite a nice practice if you actually do it and you wait. And I found that through building this house, each room took me about an hour and a half to complete. So nearly all of these rooms, except for the one bathroom, I think the bathroom that I had made and uploaded with the music previously was only about 45 minutes, but still coming up on that hour, because when I sit down, I just spill so much time into these rooms. And that being said, there's like how many rooms in this house, which would amount to, I want to say, like 10 hours non-consecutively of work. And I'm just like, if I sat down and built a house for 10 hours, I would probably starve to death and get fired from my job, because if I was doing that, I wouldn't be going to work, that's for sure. So I like building this way, and I'll reiterate that fact because it allows me to be more creative, and I don't sit down and build the same thing over and over again as I normally would. And recently, I have been exploring the idea of potentially playing The Sims 1 again, but everything that I have found for The Sims 1, the original Sims, is only for like the Windows computers in the 90s or something. Like, I can't find anything where I would be able to play it on my computer today. Like, I could probably try, I guess, but I know that it only, you know, like, if you're whatever, you know, it's not important, but it would be fun to throw it back a little bit and play The Sims 1. I remember owning all of the expansions, as I've said before, and it was a fun thing to play. You know, that's why I've really been looking forward to a Pets expansion. I know I say that like 1,000 times, but when you look back on it though, The Sims 1 had the pets, and you could have like the stores. You could have like a pet store that you could go to. We already have stores in the game, so you could have a pet shop, right? And then all you have to do is, I guess it's not really an all you have to do situation because somebody has to develop it and make it, but you know, make that kind of content. I really want to see it. And I also wanted to talk about the fact that I saw the new content. What is it like? I didn't see any new content, don't get me wrong. This city life or whatever it is that I saw was leaked on the internet. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about, but I'm just not excited about it. I feel like every little bit of news that comes out has been a sheer and utter disappointment to me. So I continue to play. I digress. Oh, it's like every time I start talking, I start ranting about it. And that even happens when I talk to my friends in everyday life too. I'll be talking about WoW and I'll bring up something about The Sims and how I'm completely angry about it. And I wish things would just happen. So it's not just you guys that watch my videos, it's everyone else too has to deal with this. But anyway, so let's get into the build a little bit here, because I am doing some interesting things as far as landscape goes. Now, I'm not very creative with landscape. Like, if there's one thing you know about me, like, I'll throw rocks here and there. I will smash plants together, much like you see here in this front yard. But I'm not big about trees in this game, because trees tend to get in the way. And I honestly don't really know how to put stuff together to just make it look nice, I guess. I mean, this looks nice for the simple fact that I've had time to think about it. Now, I didn't sit here and think about, oh, this is every item in the game and I'm going to place it here, here, and here. It was like, oh, this looks nice together, plop, plop, and continue on. I actually really think those windows are ugly, the ones that we're looking at right now with the little green lattice sky over it and the little balcony, fake balcony there. I think those windows are ugly. I think they came with the, like, romantic garden stuff pack or something to that effect. So, because they're so hideous, I decided to make it look pretty, and it does look a lot better with those little balconies under it and the little green stuff on top. I feel like they're a bit too harsh for whatever I was trying to do, so I just tried to soften them up and make them blend in a little more. And like every house or every window on this house is like a gray color or like a silver color. So I just tried to keep the theme with that. I don't like when I start building, I get into doing some retarded stuff because I'll be putting different color windows everywhere and it just becomes an absolute mess and looks terrible. So I don't know, I try to avoid that in this one and keep them all the same color. And now I'm actually getting into the living room, and I'm pretty proud of myself for this, but I wish this was an easier thing to do. I wish it was easier to be able to change the, like, you know, do like a drop floor in one area, like a den type thing, I guess you would call it, because you just walk down into it, right? So I wish this were easier to make. I wish this were an easier concept, to where even though this is a part of a room, it can still be considered part of the living room, but it can have its own crap in there. And the little half wall pattern down there, I couldn't change that unless I changed the outside wall pattern, so I was kind of screwed either way. And then that rock bed right there where I have it, I had to cut out the middle where that one candle is directly below the television in the center. I cut one square out so that they would be able to watch TV. So that actually works now. And I can't say much for the screenshots that I put at the end of this because honestly, they're a little depressing and terrible. And that's because this living room is so small that it just doesn't really allow for room to take screenshots. So I tried to do my best. And you can see where I've changed things when it came to the actual screenshots. So other than this actual living room section with the TV, the candles, the sofa, I didn't really know what else to do. So I just kind of put a stereo over by the master bedroom, and I put 2 plant barrels by the back door just to kind of take up space, because I really wasn't sure what else I wanted to do as far as that goes. I mean, there wasn't much to put there. I guess I could have kept technically the office over there, but I wanted the office to be its own separate little entity and not be directly connected to the living room, because, I mean, my office is in the living room, technically, if you want to call it an office, and it's not the best for making videos or privacy for that matter. Not that I need privacy on the internet, because all I do is play video games. It's not like I'm doing anything sketchy. So, meh. I just figured Jet needed his privacy. I mean, and come to think about it, I haven't really designed this house around Sky at all. And that's supposed to be like his fiance or something. I think they're like that tight now or something. They're, you know, gonna get married eventually, but I put their lives on hold, obviously, like I'd said before, and I don't want to get them married or have a wedding or anything like that until I start my Let's Play. Like, you know, Jet got abducted the other day, and I was like, oh shit. Like, I was really terrified because I thought he was gonna get pregnant, so like I was really scared about playing the game, and then I played it for a couple, you know, like some days, and he was fine, so I wasn't as scared after the fact. But I've had a couple run-ins with some scary stuff that's happened out, like, autonomy-wise, with the Sims doing their own little thing, I guess you could call it. So it's been a little scary, but I really just am sick of the window selections. I feel really awkward about these windows that I have been using because, you know, they're like the slatted ones. And just for some odd reason, I just don't even feel like it looks that good with this brick. And I don't even know what windows I would even use. But at the end of the day, you're not really going to see the windows anyways, unless you're continually watching these series and just, you know, you're watching the outside of the house and me decorate it. So, I mean, even in gameplay, you don't really notice them that much, so I guess I don't really care. They look good from the inside, they just don't look good from the outside, and that's all I really have on that. And you can see this really, like, barren area. I mean, maybe if I sit and think on it a little more, I might have an idea of what I would want to put there. But the only thing I really knew I wanted was this area that we're looking at right now. That's pretty much it. And I wound up sticking that, so like I said, I cut out a square of area. I wound up putting that coffee table in there that you see with the little Cocker Spaniel on it. So it works out, but I can't upgrade the TV because I've been going through and like every time I put new appliances in the house, I make Jet upgrade them so that they're like superior above all. So that's really weird. You probably just heard me crack my knuckles too. It's like a filthy habit. When I'm just like sitting here talking, I move my hands, I guess. You can't see that, but I can. I was having a really hard go about doing the roof, and for some reason, every time I wanted to put like a little lofty area in, it tried to put the roof inside of my room, and I was not okay with that, so I wasn't allowed to do anything cool, apparently. So I just left it at that, and I played like that for a really long time, so Jet had a really, really empty office. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. We're going to wrap it up, and this is Raiden signing off. Have a good one, guys.